People are placing me high tier normie as a little bit above average, between a 6 to a 6.5.
Does that mean he's rating himself a 6.25? What is going on right now? How is this not body dysmorphia? Coach Greg, and we're catching up with Clavicular, who's about to get a double jaw surgery. The things that this man is opening up to, it's just unbelievable. And so let's get right into it.
Because I knew that, your looks play into a role of, are you going to get hired, right? How people treat you, just in terms of how I was getting tipped.
I mean, how much does this not sound like a woman? And so I need double titanium implant surgery on my cheeks and a nose job so that I'll get more money and tips when I'm at the restaurant.
I'm going to have to fly to Istanbul. I would argue that Italian surgeons are better, but sometimes they won't do some of the more black-pilled extreme movements.
Does this not remind you of Zac Efron? Was Zac Efron not already extremely attractive? And then what did he do to his face? What if after he gets his surgery, it's botched? How often do we see beautiful girls go and get hot dog lips? They look great. Perhaps the first time they get filler, they even look a little bit better, dare I say. But eventually, one thing leads to the next, and they've got hot dogs on their lips, their cheeks are out to here, and their breasts weigh 10 pounds each. What happened? How did they go from A to Z so quickly? And so the temptation to continue to get cosmetic surgery, once you started, it's real. And how many people don't think that all of those people have body dysmorphia? It's when you look in the mirror and you don't like the reflection that you see back. I'm certainly not gay in saying that I think that this is a very attractive man, far above average. And he's 6'2" to boot. And yet he wants to get limb lengthening surgery and he needs more cheekbones. For what?
The surgery is called a Bimax. It's a double jaw surgery, right? So they're going to make an osteotomy in the upper jaw, my maxilla, and advance it forward, and the lower jaw.
And so is he trying to look like Giga Chad? Like, does he need to perpetually have a resting bitch face with the hunter eyes and the jaw forward and the protruding cheek implants?
What I want to say to that is extraordinary times call for extraordinary measures, right? And the extraordinary times are just how hypergamous women are nowadays.
Out of 100 people, I bet all of them are going to rate you as an 8, 9, or a 10. And so let's take the average. He's a 9. 99th percentile looks, it's not enough because women are hypergamous by nature. And so when they're with me, I'm only at the 99th percentile. What happens when the guy comes along and he's 6'6"? What if he has more muscle? And what if he has a better tan? If that man can come along and take your woman, let him have her. He did you a favor. If you're with someone and you're in love and someone can come along and steal them from you, they weren't yours to begin with. And so let it happen. You're going to convince me that this man is getting his jaw surgery to be forward and the protruding cheekbones and the nose surgery, all so that he can keep his woman because of hypergamy. This is ridiculous. I thought he was confident. I thought he had a strong self-esteem. Clearly, he does not. Do you really think I'm worried about Mepsigram being swooned off of her feet from some 6'2" Chad?
And the men who are not at the top percentiles are left with nothing, right? Because everyone's extremely sexually promiscuous.
Not all women are extremely sexually promiscuous. Not all women are thoughts are 304s. Not all women are like a Cash's wife.
I've been rated what's called a high tier normie, is what a lot of people say. So the scale is low tier normie, mid tier normie, high tier normie, Chad light, and Chad.
What exactly is that? A normie high tier sounds right, but it's not quite a Chad, a Giga Chad, an Adam. What is going on?
Women will always tend to rate people that they find average, 50th percentile, as a 7.
Average is not a 7. A 7's above average. Average is a 5. We all know this.
People are placing me high tier normie as a little bit above average, between a 6 to a 6.5.
Does that mean he's rating himself a 6.25? I guess the rest of us are all negative numbers. What is going on right now? This is not a 6. And so by clinical definition, how is this not body dysmorphia? The average person thinks he's an 8, a 9, or 10. He thinks he's a 6 or a 6.5.
But if the surgery went wrong, if the surgery was botched, like what would happen? What's the worst case scenario?
The worst case scenario is an infection.
No, the worst case scenario is you could die. The second worst scenario is you could be disfigured. You could be in pain for the rest of your life.
How would you differentiate what the average person thinks of attraction?
So it's a huge numbers thing. It's really autistic, but everything is about numbers, right, and measurements.
You know, I really appreciate the tism in him. I'm really about the numbers and the stats. I mean, I'm spending like 4 hours looking at stats last night on my bike racing and so on. I really love this, but I think he's just got it wrong.
There's just all these different numbers, and then it gets you what's called a harmony score, right? So you take all these different measurements, you do the math, you check it out on your face, and then we're going to get a percentage harmony score.
Or you're either hot or you're not. It's not a measurement. It's not the distance from here to there and this and that. It's everything in 1 and in a quarter second, 0.1 of a second, hot or not. I don't need a measurement, a ruler. I don't need to feed my appearance into ChatGPT to know if somebody is good looking or not. And remember, beauty is subjective. It's in the eye of the beholder. And so what's strikingly beautiful for one person might be ugly for the next.
So in terms of the numbers thing, the closest person we get to perfection is Matt Bomer.
Isn't it interesting that Superman, who is exactly what Clavicular looks like, is the perfect man according to science? 94% on the looks maxing scale.
The thing is, I'm playing a game and trying to get a result, right? So I know that looks are going to help me maintain my relationship more.
I personally only care about my looks. I don't really care about her looks. It's not as so important to me. Do you ever think that other people might have the same thoughts as yourself? You're thinking looks aren't the be-all, end-all. But that's just me. Women are hypergamous. But what if they're not? What if, yeah, they're hypergamous to an extent. They don't want some broke ass. They don't want a guy who's 5'2". They don't want somebody who can't hop a nippard, but they're not going to care so much that they want the man that they're in love with to go through all these surgeries in order to them look better. Yeah, is it possible that surgeries can make you more attractive? I'm sure there are, but what if it's not needed? What if you're good enough as you are? Did you in fact think of that?
So do you think looks are the most important thing for women? Like for them to get men?
Absolutely.
Obviously, looks is the most important thing to get a man. Now, to keep a man, it's something different. Looks can get you in the door. The McLaren, the Ferrari, it's nice. You walk up to it. You want to go for a ride. But if you open the door and it smells like shit, it's disgusting, you don't want to go for a ride. And so that is analogous to your body. If it's an amazing external shell, but once you look inside, it's horrendous, no one wants that shit.
What does it mean to be low inhibition?
And just being able to kind of do and say whatever you want without spiking your cortisol, getting really anxious, just being free.
How can you be free when you think that you need to be perfect in order to be a proper man? He started using steroids at 14. He's on meth. He's taking retatrutide. How does that let you be free? In comparison, I don't have to put on my makeup before leaving the house. Who is more free? How is he free and liberated if he's confined by his appearance?
Do you think alcohol is evil but necessary?
Absolutely. Yeah. Alcohol is the best way to block some of the neurotransmitters that are going to cause people to have anxiety. It's going to make you more sociable.
Bro is 19. What is the age of drinking in the United States?
I was a bouncer for a little while, and that kind of helped me make a lot of necessary observations to shape kind of how I think about everything.
And even if he was, which he's saying he was, what happens if he's a bouncer and he gets in a face and they punch that titanium implant? What's he going to think then when he's no longer pretty?
Right. So I was noticing who was going home with the pretty girls every night. And I noticed it was really about 1% to 2% of men. Right. So it was people who were very tall.
Do you not think that that has somehow influenced to think he needs these surgeries?
A woman who's with a man who's rich and not good looking will never truly love her. Okay, this is a term called beta boxing.
Man, I wish that somebody could talk to this man and convince him, because I feel like he's reasonable. I feel like if he was presented with the proper data that he would believe it. Clavicular. It's possible for a woman to be with a man not because he's extremely good looking. He has a lot of money. He's not exceptionally attractive, but he has that it factor. The je ne sais quoi. The personality. Perhaps he's funny, he's humorous, he's confident. And the woman just likes him for him, despite his appearance, despite the fact that maybe he's only a 5'6" manlet. There's women out there that it's not only about looks. Of course, looks is important. There needs to be a genuine burning desire for that man. But to say a woman can never truly love a man unless he's good looking, this is not true.
Myron Gaines talking about yesterday, he said that guys, if you don't have any money or any status, just always going to be worried about a dude with more money than you taking your girl.
It's the complete opposite way.
He's not dead wrong in that way. They're both right. Your woman, based on hypergamy, can go for another person who's either more attractive to you or has more money than you. Either or, it can happen. But remember, if they did take that woman away from you, they did you a favor. You should be thinking, thank you for showing me who she truly is, not thinking, no, be a man and move on.
Yeah, in terms of what you can get away with, the threshold goes through the roof as you get better looking, right? You can do things that unattractive people can never fathom, right?
I mean, exactly. There is no bad man. There's only bad looking. You can essentially do anything if you're good looking enough. You're only a creep if you're not hot. If you're an attractive man, you can get away with almost anything. And if you can't, you're probably just not hot enough.
Attractive prisoners get 40% less, on their prison sentence than unattractive, prisoners. Example of this was Jeremy Meeks.
Jeremy Meeks. Who doesn't remember this? Most attractive prisoner. Women were saying, no, take my money. Be with me. We don't care about the assault and battery. I can fix him. And so, for example, Luigi Mangione, attractive guy in his 20s. Do you know how many women want to be with this man? But yet he had just ended somebody. And because he's attractive, he's seen differently than if he was a creepy, ugly old man.